He was a fire drake from the north. This city of men was nothing. For dragons covet gold with a dark and fierce desire.
I was a big fan of the LEGO Movie, and I was also a big fan of the LEGO Movie video game. It took the same LEGO gameplay all the big franchise LEGO games are known for, and made just a few subtle changes. Changes I assumed were just for that specific LEGO game, and changes that have now shown up in this big franchise LEGO game. Weird, right? It's LEGO The Hobbit for the Xbox 360. So this is the latest in that long line of LEGO games based on things. It's based on the first two Hobbit movies, There and Back Again, and The Desolation of Smaug. And like most of these games, it retells the events of the films very closely. You're basically playing through LEGO versions of the movies, spiced up, of course, with that unique LEGO humor. It's a familiar formula because there are a lot of these games, and frankly, this one isn't that much different from any of the other ones.
Oh, they're quite a merry gathering. Once you get used to them.
Now, that said, I did mention a couple changes carried over from the LEGO Movie video game. Fans of that game should recognize these LEGO builds, which have you reading the instructions and then matching the necessary pieces. I liked these before, and they work again here. They really add even more of a LEGO feel to the gameplay. And secondly, you get a bunch of these mini-games, or almost rhythm games, actually. You have to press buttons at just the right moment once they appear inside a circle. The game has a couple different variations on this, actually, and they also help break things up nicely. One thing that wasn't carried over from the LEGO Movie video game is the graphics, specifically the emphasis on LEGO. In that game, everything was made of LEGO, not just certain objects like in prior LEGO games. This one goes back to that style. But on the plus side, it's actually one of the prettiest LEGO games I've ever played. The environments are just awesome in this game, and some of the lighting in particular just looks gorgeous. Now, of course, the core gameplay is pretty much what you'd expect. You control an entire group of characters, each of whom has different items and abilities, and of course that comes into play during puzzles. I feel like I say this every time I review a LEGO game, but the gameplay here doesn't really change much from game to game. You either still enjoy all this breaking and collecting, or you're tired of it. And in both cases, I totally see your point. Fortunately, one thing that does make this LEGO game stand out a bit is its flair for the dramatic. There are some seriously impressive locations and set pieces. I mean, the films are so epic and so ambitious, it's nice to see the game go for the same kind of vibe. And again, the presentation plays a big part in that. The environments are beautiful, and having actual music and voices from the movies, that's obviously a really nice touch. And the campaign mode has a nice length. It's about 6 or 7 hours long, and after you've finished it, there's still a ton of stuff to do. As you play, you unlock side quests all over Middle-earth, and those really extend the value here. There's quite a bit to see and do, even once you've technically beaten the game. And of course, playing with a friend is always when these games are at their best. So, even though some of the changes from the LEGO Movie video game and other recent games seem to be sticking around, it's still 90% the same reliable LEGO. You know, there's just not a whole lot to say about this game. It's more the same LEGO you either love or stopped caring about a while ago. And like I said, either way, I get it. These things are almost as alike from year to year as the Madden games. Of course, they're also ridiculously fun, and actually this one's kind of beautiful too. And there's something about collecting all those shiny Lego studs. It's still addictive. It's just fun, mindless, pick up and play gaming at its best. And this time they're Lego dragons. So, I'm sold. It's LEGO The Hobbit for the Xbox 360.